Ramat Hanadiv extends across an area of over 1,100 acres in the southern part of Mount Carmel. Over the past 25 years, Ramat Hanadiv has implemented a range of ecological studies in order to expand scientific knowledge about the site. This information is taken into consideration by the Nature Parks Management, influencing their decisions and used for the development of educational programs. It was obvious from the start that human intervention in the Mediterranean ecosystem is inevitable. Intervention is necessary for preventing fires, preserving and cultivating varied habitats, encouraging diversity of species and societies, and for protecting species of particular importance. Alongside its work to expand scientific knowledge, Ramat Hanadiv has implemented an adaptive management approach. This approach is based on applying management operations such as grazing or felling, accompanied by monitoring and research, providing ongoing information pertaining the impact of the management activities on the ecosystem, and enables the adjustment of the activities accordingly. One of the first management activities introduced at Ramat Hanadiv is the reintroduction or restocking of populations that have become extinct or rare in the area. Lanner falcons, which had become extinct in the southern cliffs, have now been reintroduced, and an effort is being made to restock the dwindling population of griffon vultures. These efforts have been made consistently over the past 25 years, including the reintroduction of other species such as the lesser kestrel. All reintroduction activities are followed by fitting the reintroduced individuals with small radio transmitters that enable monitoring, coinciding with the adaptive management approach. Another issue dealt with by the park's management is controlling the cover of trees and shrubs through manual felling and regulated cattle and goats grazing. The introduction of a herd of cows to graze in the park required professional decisions defining the ideal level and timing of grazing. The process was accompanied by ongoing monitoring of the quantity, structure, and composition of herbaceous vegetation in the areas open for grazing. In addition to research supporting management activities, studies examining the impact of these actions on the diversity and composition of vegetation and different biological groups such as invertebrates, rodents, and butterflies have also been conducted. Most of the studies have found that grazing can alter the blend of species found or the density of individuals present. However, grazing was not found to have any negative impact on biodiversity. In fact, in most cases, the areas under cattle grazing were richer and more biologically diverse than areas where grazing did not take place. The impact of grazing was also studied in the context of the landscape of the park. One study examines the settlement of Aleppo pines in natural garrigue areas. Is the emergence of pine populations a natural process or a management problem to be resolved? What kind of landscape do we want to see here in the future? After 20 years of short-term research, we realized that phenomena such as plant succession and climate change are essentially long-term processes. Accordingly, it became clear that we must also engage in long-term monitoring and research. One of the goals of long-term studies is to provide a base of dateline data as a point of reference for future research. In 2003, Ramat Hanadiv established a long-term ecological research station, or LTER, one of hundreds of stations throughout Israel and the world. Within this framework, ongoing monitoring of different groups on the basis of structured and standardized protocols takes place. At Ramat Hanadiv, long-term data are collected relating to plants, butterflies, songbirds, and populations of jackals, gazelles, and partridges. In order to study the dynamics of populations such as wild boars, individuals are caught and equipped with transmitters in order to enable computerized monitoring. Further data are yielded by cameras installed along the paths in the nature park. The cameras provide information about behavioral aspects that cannot easily be monitored directly, such as courting and feeding. Abiotic data are collected by means of the meteorological station, enabling study of their impact on ecological processes. Water samples are collected regularly from the Ain sewer spring, the main drinking source for most of the park animals. Additional studies supplement knowledge about soil processes. Processes that occur in the upper soil layer, covered with leaf litter, are explored at Ramat Hanadiv. Organic material that accumulates in this layer decomposes, and its constituent elements are returned to the system, feeding vegetation. These processes are influenced by such factors as temperature and ground humidity, which regulate the cycles of carbon, nitrogen, and potassium. All data collected at Ramat Hanadiv are sampled using palm computers and GPS devices to document the precise location of each observation. The data are processed and analyzed using geographical information systems that enable the construction, presentation, and analysis of distinct layers of information. In addition to ecological research facing the future, Ramat Hanadiv has also been engaged for years in a journey to the past.
ראש פנתר, עשוי שיש, מהמאה הראשונה לפני הספירה.
Several archaeological sites are situated within the nature park. They have been excavated and studied since the early 1980s. Excavation and restoration work is still continuing, as well as publishing the accumulated knowledge. Alongside the studies of the past and present, the research activities at Ramat Hanadiv are focused firmly on the future. Every year, several studies are completed and new ones begin. Dozens of students and researchers have been involved in research activities in the nature park over the years. The long-term ecological research station is widening the field of research into new areas, contributing to the management of open land and the development of various educational programs. Ramat Hanadiv is one of the most intensively mapped and researched areas in Israel. The database of knowledge is growing over the years, but many questions remain unresolved and await the next generation of researchers. Like the birds of prey that soar above Ramat Hanadiv, for our researchers too, the sky's the limit.